Nice. Now this should be like joining this team with the, I don't know, I started in real estate in '08 and was just cold calling, door knocking, open housing. And I would love to start with like a team like this where a lot of stuff is pretty hand fed and we just had to learn on our own, but learned a lot. And so no, good for you. I think you definitely have a leg up on most agents that are just starting out. And Lori, are you with us still at the moment? Maybe. All right. Well, I was just going to open it up. See, have either of you? Well, I guess. Okay, awesome. Lori, are you using video at all right now, or have you used video at any point in real estate, or for anything? I guess we could say.
So I made a couple of videos, texting and emails for Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Anything you're doing with video. I mean, we could even talk photos, but anything you're doing essentially and focusing more so just on your phone, since it's what we always have on us. But yeah, cool. So you did a couple of those. And what was your experience? Did you not just, we'll get to the results or the feedback later, but how did you feel doing it? Did you feel uncomfortable? Did you have any ahas as you were doing it, or anything? Anything you learned while you did it? Or anything, any feedback?
So I actually went to the office when no one was there, and
Nice.
I kind of filmed myself there at the office, and I wasn't exactly sure. I kind of stole, Alex from Bill O'Malley's team.
I
kind of stole her video for Thanksgiving and kind of just went off of kind of like one that she had done and used her ideas. And I kind of went from there and, basically let people know, hey, I'm still working through the holidays. So if you need anything, I'll be here. So the first take was, kind of awkward. And then I did a couple takes until I liked one, and then I saved it. And that's the one that I used to move forward. I had a couple of people that did email or text me back, wishing me happy holidays. Everyone was quiet, so it wasn't like I was getting any, clients that were moving at that time. But so it was pretty cool. I liked it. I would do it again. I know, a lot of people do a lot for blogging, and they do a lot to put on their Facebook. I have yet to do that because I'm a little bit shy about doing that part.
It makes sense. I think it's pretty natural. Everybody's quite shy with that stuff. And I mean, I would say the majority of us are, especially in the beginning. And to kind of go back to what you were saying, as far as the feedback, a lot of these, it's similar to our feedback as we're sending texts out or making calls, leaving voicemails, whatever, during certain times like the holidays. It's not like our video is going to make them all of a sudden want to buy, like be ready to buy if they have a condition that they're not buying for the holidays, market, whatever, interest rates, pre-qual, et cetera. But they're just, what I try to focus on, and I think you realize that too, Lori, with most of what I do is just touching. It's not really, I'm not trying to really change their mind. I'm not that type of a coach and I wasn't that type of a realtor. There are other people out there that are way better at that than I am, that like sell or push or kind of are really good with I'm good with handling objections as far as keeping a relationship alive and nurturing that. But I'm not one to tell someone that, I'll let them know I think it's a great time to buy right now because very little competition in the market. Interest rates, once they go down and once we hit spring, summer, prices likely will be going up, those type of things. But that's just not my personality either. So I've never been a pusher like that. But the idea, like I said, you got a few people that have feedback, and guess hopefully none of it was bad. So I would imagine the majority of people who received it, if not all, would have similar feedback. Just some people are more inclined to actually send something back or not. The idea is you're staying top of mind. So that's the whole idea of that, especially during the holidays when not a lot of people are going to like change a mind over something a realtor says. So yeah, no, great on you. And then as far as the the comfort thing. I don't know if we're Facebook friends or not, Lori, but I'm same. Like I used to be really uncomfortable with video, and now this year I've been doing a lot of stories and stuff. But it's all mine's travel because it's what I'm doing. But I remember the beginning of this year I had no idea how to post a story on Facebook. I mean, I knew how to video and I knew some things of the trade, but I didn't know half of what. No, 95% of what I know now as far as using my video for social media and also just being comfortable. I used to be super uncomfortable taking video in public, even just talking on the phone, period, but especially in public. And now just over practice, I know that I video all the time. I video today as I'm walking to the gym and see some weird stuff that's interesting and I video and talk to the camera, and I don't even notice it anymore, but that just took some time to just get used to it. But no, good for you. Good for you. So
Well,
there's a
and
command.
that you bring a good point, because I was always under the impression, more because I see everyone else's, is basically, oh, so I got to do it about some type of business thing about, the lenders are, when they post, they're all about, hey, what's happening, what the rates in the market right now. So I thought, well, I'm not really big on, hey, so here's the trend going today. But you're right. Like, why do we have to post it about real estate? Just post it about anything, and you're still in front of them. It's all about just being in front, not necessarily, value, yes, but right.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of just being in front of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of approaches to it. I mean, if I just listened to a podcast on it this morning, and he was talking about, he mentioned quite a few examples of people that do really well with it. And one was a guy that did nothing about real estate, but just he had a theme, or he was bringing value, or at least entertaining his audience. And then at one point he decided to introduce, he was in real estate, and that transitioned into a lot of, connections and potential real estate business. But especially, no worries. Anytime you need to step out or anything, but especially in the beginning, I would say, especially, it's just all about doing it, getting something out there. You obviously want to keep it somewhat, you don't want to just throw something, throw up on Facebook and just throw something out, but not overthink it. And it's just getting something out there. It's really, as much as anything, for you to build momentum, confidence, a little flow. I mean, all of it just gets easier, even taking the video and putting it on the platform and hitting post and maybe adding music or whatever you want to do. As you go, you'll layer and you'll learn as you go, and it'll become better or more fit your style. It is not a bad idea if you don't have anything at all to post, or you're not comfortable on the camera, and or you find your niche on how to bring value. Yeah, you can also follow themes or types of content. I think, like, if you see Misty, she posts a lot of stuff. She's constantly doing buyer education, about whether it be making an offer, contingencies, inspections, etc. The whole nother route. There's many routes you can go. I think the most important part in the beginning is just finding something you're comfortable with to do, even if that's, hey, just want to check in for the week. Hope you all have a lovely week. On my way to show homes and wanted to say hello. Boom, whatever. That's a simple, easy start. Nobody's going to argue with that. Nobody's going to be offended by that. So you could take it where you're the positive spin person. You could take it where you're updating weather as you go out. I'm literally thinking of these off my top of my head. Like, you're telling about the weather or traffic as you go show homes. I mean, you could just, whatever it may be, you could do behind the scenes. Here's the, what a day in the life of the realtor. It takes a little more thought and strategy and planning out, something like that. But like, what I'm saying is, you could really do anything you want, as long as it's not like ridiculous or offensive. And the idea is you're getting comfortable and you're taking action. So for me, with my stuff, I started like a ton of videos. I'm always traveling and doing pretty crazy stuff. Like, what do? I kind of just started posting here and there. And then now I do little stories through my day where it kind of shows, maybe I'm on a road trip and I show kind of a story, or it really depends, like what happens. So, but now I have little styles that I do with my stuff that kind of is my own signature, but that took like this year to develop. And that's not anything anybody has to do. That's just my little style or my little experience. But there's a couple, do you want to chime in on anything, Christine?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I've noticed, because with my previous job, and you guys will see, I've just friended you guys. So after the call at some point, you'll probably see it. But with my previous position that, like I said, I'm still transitioning out of. There's a lot of fresh stuff. And so I've tried a lot of social media because it's network marketing. But what I've found is oftentimes the things that I just post impulsively that take 2 seconds get more reactions than the stuff that I spend a lot of time on to create, because people want to see genuine real life. Like they want to get to know you. They want to be able to relate. They don't want to be sold to all the time. So you have to allow that. You have to get comfortable with it. And the truth is that's what people like to see. And you're going to get people reacting to and relating to, and that's what we're hungry for, right? So you have to think of what are the things that I like to see when I go on. You know, I want to see people's dogs and what they're doing for Christmas and where they're at for vacation, what they're eating even sometimes. So, right? Like you
Totally agree.
More than a sales pitch. So, but those are the people that I'm seeing. And so if I happen to see something that they're doing, you know, and mixed in there, like you said, it's more being aware of what people do.
Totally agree. And like the raw content, I think like we all have tons of commercials in front of us and really perfectly polished things. And that's why these shorter video shorts are like much more engaging. They're raw, they're simple, they're typically more impulsive. They can still be pretty overproduced. But that stuff, I totally like, that is the truth. People can relate. Nobody's perfect. So people can relate to somebody. I mean, I literally would not hesitate to post a video like, oh, my first Facebook story feels super weird on camera. Let me know what you think, if you've had the same experience or if you have any tips on how to get over this. And this is all I can handle. So for now, I'm out. Like something like that. Like that would be very engaging. People would be like, oh, wow, she's a human. Like she's not trying to be all perfect and present herself. Like nobody's perfect. And it's hard to relate to people, nearly impossible to relate to perfect. So I totally agree and love that you shared that. Lori, I see your hand raised there. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you, do you have like your Zillow customers, have you gone into see if they're on Facebook, or have you tried to like go into the email and ask them to friend you on Facebook or not? Because I have not friended any of my Zillow customers. I try to actually search for one kid right now and I couldn't find him, but I haven't put anybody on my Facebook. My Facebook just has like, you know, past Keller Williams and clients, and some of my customers who became my friends are on there. But so question for you, do you have your Zillow people on your Facebook?
Yeah, so right now I do not with WR, because I kind of work as an ISA and assisting Wes and a couple people with their database. And I'm not technically a realtor. So I kind of just, I stay away from that because I let Wes and them do that if they're going to play with that. And I just kind of follow up with the calls. So I'm not meeting them in person ever. I'm never face-to-face with anybody because I'm abroad. So all the connections I have on Zillow are via just phone, texting, and email. But I used to, when I was an active realtor, I would always try to find them on social media because it's just social media for me is the easiest way to stay top of mind without being intrusive. If you're doing engaging stuff they want to see, either educating them, entertaining them, whatever, showing about your life, that you're human, that you're not just a salesperson. So yeah, I always think it's a great idea. I wouldn't like just when I get a lead, just add them to Facebook. I wouldn't recommend that. But once you meet with somebody, I would not hesitate to add them at all. Easiest way to find them would be by their email or phone number. A lot of times the names can be hard to find because there's multiple of them, unless they have a unique name. And a lot of times when you save their phone number in your phone, it will kind of populate into Facebook where it suggests them as a friend. But yeah, I wouldn't hesitate against doing it as long as, you know, there's nothing on your Facebook. Only time I'd recommend against it, and nobody has to, by the way, for those of you that are new here, Misty and Christine, like these are all just my recommendations. I'm never going to tell you what you should do or what's right, fully right or wrong. We're we're all able to do what we want, but I wouldn't like recommend if you're highly politically active on Facebook or big anti or for COVID or any of these divisive, religious, any of the stuff that is, in my opinion, divides us. That's why I don't know anything about any of it. I'll throw that little nugget out there. I don't even know what red or blue or Republican or Democrat is because I don't care. But that's a whole nother story. I don't put that on Facebook either. Well, I would, but I don't want to. Anything that is divisive, if you're really opinionated about that, then I would not. And you share that stuff, then I would probably not open up your audience because you're going to split it. You're going to lose half of them rather than just being indifferent. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend against that at all. Because it is the freest, easiest way to stay top of mind, and they can engage so easy with a comment or a like. It's not like replying to an email where you got to like update on where we're at in the process, and maybe we'll buy in 3 months, maybe next year. Like they don't. So it's just, I think it's the greatest tool. I think it's super still unutilized by a lot of the industry. I mean, there is obviously a lot out there really killing it with it. Even me, that's what I'll be focusing on this year. It's like we'll be doing goal planning next Monday and the Monday and Tuesday, and I want to build several businesses out of what I'm doing. I'm focused on WR, but by the end of the year, I want to have niches that I'm focused. And I think a lot of what I'm going to start is through social media. Maybe I'm going to focus either with Twitter, LinkedIn. Don't think I'm going TikTok for my niche, but build that out where I'm building an audience and providing value and creating something that I can take and work with later.
You may want to hold off on the Twitter on the Twitter one.
Because it might go away.
Who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen?
I heard a good one on this podcast with this guy who's a legend today. He's like, same with TikTok, because TikTok was supposed to go away a few years ago with China and Trump. Like, I don't really worry. Like, there's always going to be another platform, and they're going to evolve. And it's more so my message that I'll be focused on and providing value. And if something changes, I just pivot it to the next, because there's always something we'll replace it. If Twitter goes away, something else will come. Like these medium. But I hear you. Yeah. Like, but it's picking your niche and finding out which. I wouldn't recommend you start trying to post Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. You'll be overwhelmed and you'll never get anywhere with it. But picking one or two, probably the one you're most comfortable with, and the one you have a bigger following on, and then maybe if there's another one you want to focus on that you've been avoiding, do that. But that's what I would say with that. Do either of you is anybody using Twitter right now or LinkedIn for business?
LinkedIn a little bit. That's more so for networking, but I would probably use it more for this business. Yeah.
It's something that's on my list of resolutions to get my LinkedIn going, and Twitter as well. Awesome. So, and Misty, have you used video in your either, whether it be for business or just recreationally or for social media or?
You know what, only for real estate. Like, I have a few things that I've posted on video. I won't lie, it's not something that I dive into a lot. I feel like it's down the rabbit hole and consumes a lot of time because it's consuming, I feel. I'm older though. So I feel that it's a little consuming, but I do post. I actually have a company who posts for me, so I stay relevant. I'm at the Misty Show, both Facebook and Instagram. And he posts, like sometimes statistics, but mostly videos of homes, like visuals, just so I can gain more. I get probably like almost a follower a day, believe it or not. Lots of people looking at it, some people making comments, but I don't watch it enough to comment back. So hopefully I haven't lost any business. But because it's so relevant in today's world, like people are like, what's your Instagram? What's your Facebook? I have someone that, posts for me 4 times a week, and then I'll post some personal stuff sometimes. And then I signed up with the company Bomb, where you can make videos, but I never used it. I said, I'm going to use it. I'm going to make a video for a client. And then maybe this year I'll get around to it.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. By the way, welcome Wes to the house, and Melissa, thanks for joining us. Bomb we've used too. What you were saying with like, I want to swing back when you said it's too consuming. Is it too consuming to create and post it, or you get too consumed watching other videos too, so you don't involve in that, or both?
I think the creation is consuming. And I think when you go on there, it's so easy, what I call it. I make fun of my family to go down the rabbit hole, right? So you go on there to actually do what? What do you say when you go to social media, right? I'm gonna post some content in hopes to drive some business, right? I mean, that would be my whole point. I don't don't do it. You know, I have someone who posts and they post things, so people are like, oh, Misty Matthews is a realtor. Oh, Misty, you know, because so many people do spend a lot of time on social media today, like a lot of time. So I do that, but I do feel it's consuming also, because you go on there and before you know it, you're looking at things that aren't feeding you. Like, how are they? To me, I'm like, how is this making me a better Misty? Right? So consuming on both ends, like.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, there's a couple of things with that. The consuming part I'm posting, I totally understand. I spend hours, especially as I've been learning this year and perfecting it and stuff. But I've also had fun with the creative stuff. But what I was mentioning earlier, like the idea is just like get it out. That's you probably heard it a million times. I heard it again in this podcast. Just get it out. Don't worry about, you know, obviously you want to make it where it's not terrible. You don't want to be offensive. You don't want to have something that's just super sloppy, but you just get it out. And as Christine was saying, the raw stuff we love, like raw stuff is super hot because we all are overexposed to this crazy polished stuff and perfect stuff that it's hard to relate to. So getting things out, and like you said, like you could even like, I like spinning these things. You could say like, look, this is over consuming for me or whatever. So I'm just gonna say hello and love you and have a great day. Bye. And done.
Well, you know what's so funny though? I watch my kids, they do it in seconds. My 18-year-old daughter, she's a freshman in college, literally will make a video, it's posted. Like if we do something, bam, it's posted in seconds. I mean, like seconds. So it can definitely be done quickly. I guess it just comes with practice, right? Like just do it. Don't even think about it. Just post it, bam, it's done. So
yeah, exactly. Now it's hard to get over that hurdle, but it is where I'm at too with myself. Kind of like overthink stuff, and I know I have thousands of videos and photos I wanted to post that I'm like, so I just start kind of firing it out. But on another note, what you were saying too with the comments, yeah, you might want to even pay that guy a little more to respond for you, because if you're getting a following and you're not commenting, you're like losing your clout. So even though you're gaining a follower, you would, if you're responding to the comments, all of your posts are going to be much higher. You're going to get much more exposure, so you get more followers, more likes, more engagement. I just heard that on this same podcast. He's like, wow, if you have 100 followers and they're commenting and you're not responding, you're not growing. He's like, so I was like, I'm not the best at that. I'm getting better, but we could go down many rabbit holes on how to perfectly run your social media and post up and what to do after and so forth. But yeah, as far as video, so are you guys conscious of like whether you're doing vertical or horizontal when you're shooting video, and for what like platforms you're using it on? Okay, cool. Because you want to focus on the maximizing the screen size. Like horizontal is great for YouTube, can still be great for Facebook. A lot of people also use their computers for Facebook and flip their phone. The horizontal works really well there. And then vertical is a lot better for stories, period, and Instagram. I don't do TikTok, but same. I think it's vertical. And then a couple random things. There's like the only two that I wanted to really share today are like, clean your lens, number one. Like the biggest fail I see on photos and videos, it's the worst. When you shoot a great video or a great photo and you look it out, it looks like there's a cloud over it, which is blown out. So I'm just in habit. Every time I pull out my phone, I don't do anything crazy. I don't spray it and I just don't even usually breathe on it if I'm in a hurry, if something's happening real fast, but just pull it out, wipe it off with my shirt, shoot. You know, I can usually tell right away if it's going to be, if I could see if it looks bad or not. And then is anybody conscious, and this is only for people if they're doing like moving videos, like if you're walking and talking, if you're going through a house tour, if you're doing anything that's like motion, is your frames per second. Does that make any sense to anybody? Because I will show you what I mean by that, because that will smooth out your video a lot. By default, I'm going to share my screen here. By default, our camera, let me see, let me make that bigger. Our cameras by default, usually up here, it will say either HD or 4K, whatever you've set it, if you've set it up on your own, or by default, it'll be HD in like 24 or 30 frames per second. If you just open your camera up and go to video, you'll see what is the default. If you tap it once, you can tap this little guy. The 60 represents your frames per second. And if you tap it, it changes. So you can go from 30 to 60 or 24, depending on where your settings are. So I always do 60 because I'm always doing travel and super moving fast. And that stops the choppiness from it. If you're walking through a house and it's always like very choppy, like the images they're skipping, that keeps it super smooth if you use 60 frames per second. If you were doing a lot of those, you could actually just change the setting overall, the actual settings in your phone. This is the iPhone. You go into your settings and scroll pretty far down to your camera, click that, and that's going to open up your settings. And this is where you can change it. You'll see mine by default. I have that because I'm doing a lot of moving videos. So it's just easier for me to tap to the less when I want to, have less frames per second. Obviously, that's going to take a little more camera space, a little more of your space too. So be conscious of that. I don't want to get calls like, oh my God, I'm full now. That's terrible advice. But yeah, so be conscious of that. But I always do 1080 at 60 frames, and I'm always moving like that. If I was doing a house tour, for sure, I would be at 60 frames per second. Those are just a few little like simple random tricks that have helped me with the quality of my videos that I didn't know about until this year, until I'm playing around with it. So those are a couple little itty bitty tricks. And then go ahead. What's up, Wes? Yeah. And yeah, I was going to just ask.
Does that hold true for like when you're doing lives on Facebook, if it's set to default at that?
I don't know. Good question. Because I don't know. I don't do lives, but I'll check it out because I'm not sure if you have the option, but I'll find out because it's a very good question.
Well, I mean, it's using your camera, so I'm just wondering if it's using what you're defaulted at.
I would think so, unless Facebook has a default that like they only record lives at a certain, but otherwise I would think so. Yeah, I'll check it.
That little tip right there, I appreciate that. I had no idea, so I just literally reset that because most of my stuff I do is video.
Yeah, a lot of your stuff's moving. Like, yeah, great. Like that was a big one for me. That totally enhanced the quality of my content because I like to move around. I also like to make it quick, so I don't want to like super duper slow. It just gets boring. Like if people want quick, fast content, so like to keep it real smooth, you got to go really slow. But then you can't really do a lot in 15 seconds. So that was probably the biggest cleaning my lens, and doing that was the biggest improvement to my videos this year. Does anybody else have any little tricks or kind of, whether it be like on the tech side or just what you do to prep yourself? I know Melissa, I've seen some of your content that you do. Is there any, it could even be like where you get your inspiration, any tricks and tips that you guys have used or things that have worked well for you?
I've been I use Canva a lot for just because it keeps the system kind of like the branding, it keeps it kind of cohesive. Then like they have where you can actually post, they have templates in there. So for anyone that's not super tech savvy, they have templates in there, and that all you have to do is like drag your photo and pop it in there. Or even videos, like for an open house video, if you're doing a tour or a video tour, like I've done that for my clients when I'm doing video tours. Instead of just sending it plain, which I typically do, but now I've been trying to take it up a notch, and I'll put it into a Canva template that kind of allows you to add a couple little features around it, and like, or a border or something to make it just so look a little bit more professional. But I don't do that all the time because again, we do like the raw stuff. So I kind of mix it up a little bit too, because I do think when you are posting on social media, and if you pull up, not stories, but if you just pull up like someone's posts and you scroll down, you can see all the little squares, right, on Instagram. If every single thing is exactly the same, you can tell like they're paying for somebody to do some serious branding for them. But I do try to have some of that where it has some of it in there just for some cohesiveness. Because I know I've done a lot of trainings. They're taking a lot of classes on Instagram and social media in general, and that's what they tell you to do. I just don't like to do it every time because I feel like it looks too perfect.
No, it's a good balance. That's really good advice too. Are you using Canva from your phone, or are you using it from the computer?
I do most of it on my phone just because that's where my life is. I don't have time to always get on the computer, but you can do Canva on the computer and your phone. And what I like is that everything is exactly the same. Like you don't have one profile on your computer, one profile on your phone. Like whatever you do and whatever projects you make, they carry over. So as long as you log in, you're good, and it saves everything you've done. So say you love a template, all you have to do is next time is switch out the video. So it makes you, my perfectionist of myself does spend a little bit too much time on it than I probably need to, trying to get the letters just to be perfectly centered or drag it this way or drag it that way. But I'm learning to just do it faster and to not care as much. Because I'm like, does that person really care what font I use? Probably not. But once you find that you like, you can just use it over and over, and all you do is edit the words, So once you find something you like, you can just change it really fast.
Yeah, good, great. Glad you shared that. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, I love it too because it syncs and you have options. Anything we can keep to our phone because it is the greatest piece of technology ever and it's always on us. It limits that hurdle, that procrastination, or that later. And like your kids, Misty, your kids are posting instantly. They're not airdropping to their computer and blah 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 blah. They're just very fast on it. Christine, you had your hand up. Sorry.
Yeah, another thing so when it comes to videos that I've heard is a good idea to try to do is captions. So if you're speaking on a video, putting the captions on, and it's because a lot of people will watch the videos without the sound. And so that helps them, and they have on Instagram and Facebook, they have it so that it will automatically put the captions on for you. Just sometimes you have to double check to make sure it doesn't put the wrong words. But I try to remember to do that because there's a lot of people that won't listen to the sound and they'll just watch the videos if they're working and they're not supposed to be watching videos or something. Right. Like her and I are doing right now. No, just kidding.
Exactly. No, it's a great call because I do the same thing. If I'm doing any talking to the camera, especially if there was a message or something that plays is part of the content I'm trying to put out and the message. I don't always remember, but I'm pretty good at it. It's got my own little drill where I add a song, I add a caption, and then I fix the audio and the music. So music doesn't drown out my voice, but the captions are there. And I got my own little drill, but again, I've developed that through doing, now like hundreds of little stories. What's that?
Practice.
Yeah, practice. I didn't even know the captions were there the first 2 months I was using it. And try this button. No, try this button. Now I see this. Got a little consumed in it, but in that learned a lot. But yeah, the captions are good. Really good idea, especially for stories. There is even there's usually an app or something out there too for anything. So if you're not doing a story and you're just posting a post, you could also, there's a app called CapCut that you can drop your videos into and it will throw captions on them. There is too many apps to recommend, but there's simple ones just on our stock too. There's Clips is on your iPhone that will help you break down your videos into smaller videos really easily. I think iMovie's on there. I don't do any of that, but iMovie's on there. I know Gina Marie uses that quite effectively, and she has her own app, Monkey. So there's a lot out there. It's just kind of I don't do a lot with the apps. I just post my stuff and work with what the platforms have for me. So it just simplifies it. There are too many apps for me to figure out which one's the best. Sometimes I just, okay, let's just stick with it. Keep it simple. Oh, Lori, you have your hand up. Sorry, I didn't see that.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask you, is Wes still on?
Yeah, so
do you guys have your own Facebook for just the business? So do you have your own Facebook for your personal stuff, and then you have another Facebook for real estate?
I do not. There's arguments both ways for it. It's just for me, too much to try and maintain and decipher. I personally want, I mean, my personal life is my business life. And I tend to think, anybody who's watching me personally, I want them to know what I'm doing. And anybody who, from a business standpoint, when I do business with people, I choose whether I let you into my personal world or not. And usually if I'm not choosing to let you into my personal world, we're probably not going to do business again. I mean, I don't do repeat business with lots of people just because I at this point in my life and my career, I choose to do business now with people who I want to do business with. And I choose to make most of my business on a very personal level. At this point in life, the depth of relationships has become more important to me than anything else. And it's all relationship, where I was completely opposite probably up till about, 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, so Alex had me do a business one. So because I was posting my solds, from my buyers from Redfin and WR on my personal one, saying, I kind of loaded them all up at once, saying, hey, sold, da da da. And I got reaction from, some friends would go, where'd you sell that house at and everything, and then I added it to my business one once I created it. She goes, oh, you should always put. And then when I went on to the business one, I joined some platforms that were, about real estate that are always on, that are really, really good. But I kind of didn't want all that jamming up on my personal one because I've got friends and kids who, my own kids and some of their friends. But I thought it would be just too much. So I didn't really know where the happy medium was or is.
Anybody want to before I do? I'm happy to, because I'll just say a few things and then open it up. There, like Wes said, there's arguments both ways. One thing I wouldn't recommend, if you're not posting a lot of personal anyways, and you're kind of held up on what to do, don't add business, because you just got another thing to worry about right now. And for me, the big benefit of business is you can get reviews on there. And I need to refresh. I didn't do it for this class because I'll do it for a later class when it's about posting on social media specifically. But there's some rule of thumbs, if you're on your personal, you shouldn't be posting straight real estate content, or else the algorithm's going to knock you down. You're kind of seen as spam, and you're not going to be seen by a lot of people. So maybe everybody would like it, but they never see it, so they can't like it. So the idea, I think the last, when I was really heavy into this for a startup, was like an 80-20 rule, 80% personal, 20% business that you should be posting. That will help, like you said, your friends and family. When I see people and they're just posting sold, that does mean nothing. Cool, if I'm looking to buy a house and I'm maybe wondering okay, this person sells a lot, but I won't see it eventually because you just keep posting sold. I'm not even going to see it. There is the benefit of the business is you could get some reviews. Also, I think it's better for the algorithms. It was at least a year ago to do real estate content if you post it on your business and then share it to your personal. But I got to see how that's changed because these algorithms and platforms are changing all the time. I would recommend no business until you got something going with your personal, and then you want to open up a business. But the fact that you have one is okay. You don't need to do anything. It's not going to die because you're not attending to it or anything. Wes, what did you have for that?
Yeah, I mean, I think my experience is it's a relationship business, and people want to do business with people they know, like, and respect. And, they need to see that. I find the more that I show, the more real I am with people, the better results I have. They want to work with somebody who's real. And, when I do my live, and I haven't been on social media a whole lot, I'm going to get much better about it and get back to how I used to be. Like when I do lives, I don't ever stop them. I don't ever watch them or edit them. I just post. If I flub up, I still post. I don't try to redo it. And I find I get better reaction, especially when I flub up. But people relate to people who are real. They don't want to see something too polished or too canned. They, because most people are real and they want to see that real side. there was something else I had that was kind of important. And it's really mixing it up, you know. Patrick was right. If you're posting like, hey, sold this, that, people don't like that. You know, I would post, I do a mixture. Like you're in the office right now, Misty and Christine, and I do like, hey, you know what? Tuesday rainy day vibes in the office. You know, we got all these people in here, and you know, just do a quick little live or a picture. You know, even the pictures, right? Just rainy, you know, office rainy day vibes. When you're out on tour or looking at properties, take pictures or video of something that's unique or different or fun. You know, not the front of houses. That's boring. People see it all the time.
Please don't.
Yeah,
Please.
I mean, it's be different, create something fun and unique, and mix it up. You know, give your clients shout outs. Ask them if it's okay. Hey, you know, I love every now and then I'll ask somebody, I'll be like, hey, I'm out here showing with these awesome, beautiful human beings that are, you know, looking to get into their first home or their step up home or whatever. And, you know, we're looking at this really cool house right now, blah, 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 boom, done. Just super simple. But, you know, the more you can make it about other things or something of value and less about you, the better you're going to be and the better you're going to be received. People really don't give it. I mean, I'm being kind of gross here, but people don't give a shit about you. They're, you know, they're watching to see other things. Like they don't want to see somebody going, hey, I just sold this house. Hey, I'm #1 in my office. Hey, look at me. You know what? That will lose interest really fast.
Yep.
So I find it, I find it hard though, like you said, if you're out showing a customer and you kind of post, hey, you know, showing these great people some homes, that's a little bit different on Zillow because most of the time you haven't met them yet and you don't have that relationship yet.
Well, yeah, no, 100%. I mean, somebody you're just meeting for the first time, no, you absolutely wouldn't do that. But you might get there early and just say, hey, waiting for my new Zillow lead, you know, check out this kitchen or check out this backyard or this view. That, you know, it's showing you're out doing something. It's, you know, that's kind of what you want. Or, you know, I mean, jump on in the car like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I got this great Zillow call and I can't wait to meet these people. We're going to look at a $1.3 million house or, you know, just something, you know, odd,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, even just Lori, just going up to you know, open the door for them. You don't even have to, you know, videotape them. You can get creative with that. I think it's staying front of mind of everybody. A lot of times now that Wes and I are married, I will post stuff on mine because my, when I lost Jeff, one of my ways of communicating to everybody, because there were so many people to communicate to while we weren't sure what was going to happen with him, was through Facebook Live. And so I have a stronger algorithm on my page than he does. I think it just comes to the front of theirs than Wes's does. Wes is really, really good at videotaping. It's very natural for him. He doesn't like you said, he doesn't overthink it or anything like that. But a lot of times we will do a live through mine because I think it goes back to being authentic. Like, I think that I got a lot of attention because I was being real and I was like, this is what's happened with me. My house, you know, I'm falling apart and I don't know what's going on. And people, I think, respected that. So, and I also, my personal opinion is for everybody, it's a little different as far as if you want to put your whole world out there, or you want to keep it separate. I do agree with Wes in that it is definitely a relationship business. You know, letting them into everything that you are. I mean, have a business page and then they go look at you personally and you're like, spring break, girls gone wild. You know, people aren't dumb. They know how to research things and they are looking just as much as we're looking at everybody else.
Yeah, you know, that's always think about what kind of, you know, and if you're going to get good on social media, which I think everybody kind of should, to stay relevant with your own circles, I think that's really important. You know, make sure you have a lot of thought into what you're putting out there. Like you would be hard pressed, and I don't know if you could go back far enough to ever find anything on my social media with me with a drink in my hand. It's a rule I have. Everyone who knows me, all my friends know, you do not post anything with me. Like, I don't want partying associate, having fun out with friends, but not like, woohoo, look, shots, you know. There might be a few Instagrams of other people's with the whole boomerang thing. I don't know, but you wouldn't see me in it. So, you know, I don't mind that, you know, for other people's fun. I wouldn't do it on my thing, you know, but that's a weird thing for me. It's a little thing for me. It's just my thing, you know, and everybody has their thing, you know. I don't know. Come up with fun stuff, you know. You know, Monica does her winning Wednesdays, and you know, I used to have a theme for every day. I just don't do that anymore. I should probably get back to it, you know. And then people start, you know, people relate to different things, then they'll look forward to seeing you, right? And they'll get used to that. Yeah, I mean, Monica used to do the WTF Wednesdays. I told her, I said, you need to bring that back because your clients loved it, but bring it back to maybe a different day, you know.
All this is really good advice. Like, these are all really great advice. And Lori, it's just finding your ways in, not your outs. So like, you can, yeah, it's hard to film an immediate lead from Zillow, but like, cool, the ones you show again. Or like Gina Marie said, how about just a picture of their car pulling up and then you open the door? Okay, great. Appointment's on. Let's have fun. There's so much in real estate you can do. You can even be doing it going through the MLS and you see some crazy, ridiculous bathroom or some ridiculous this, like, or just two comparisons. Like, I've seen some cool posts of like some crazy purple kitchen, and it's like, boom, that catches my eye. I'm like, I've never seen that before. What the hell? That might not be the house I want to buy or anything, but it's attention grabbing. It shows that I'm in real estate. I'm in active. I'm doing that. And then a couple of things on to kind of circle back. One thing, while I agree with almost everything everybody said, and everybody's all different, like Wes said with the drinking, I had said earlier with politics, I won't do. Like, there's certain things we want to represent us or not. One thing I don't recommend against, because it has helped me this year, is I do rewatch my stuff when I post it, because it helps me learn. It's similar to listening to my calls. So I really learn, oh, wait, that's how I started realizing my camera was so shoddy and jittery, because I'm like, oh, wow, but like, how do other people do it? Like, they're doing it fast and it's smooth. So, and then I'll learn. But I try not to I'm really careful with that. I used to watch and then I'd want to make sure I was at the perfect angle where it doesn't look like I'm maybe like older or overweight or something, or I'm not looking super, you know, in my perfect form. I'm pretty good at just letting that go now. Like, whatever, I'm me. I'm not going to I have a ton of content out there. So we all have good and bad angles. I try not to if the content's good, I try. It's not about me, really. The content's about what I'm trying to show in the message. But yeah, this has been a really cool call, really cool meeting. Lori, did that help at all? Do you have any thoughts on that, or happy to? And also, last thing on that, there's tons of inspiration out there. So if you want to get on Instagram and type in buyer's agent, hashtag buyer's agent, a ton of buyer's agents videos will come up. And you'll see stuff they're doing, and you'll find something that maybe I could do that, or I like that idea. You go on Facebook, you follow a couple, get in some real estate groups. That's how I'm on a ton of that stuff. I listen to real estate podcasts. I go on I have 400 followers that I just started using Instagram because it's my New Year's resolution, one of them. But I have 80% of mine are realtors that I followed because I like their content. I need to wither that down, but they were realtors that were really cool on social media. So I get a lot of inspiration from them. You don't need to recreate the wheel. You're going to find something that you like, and over time, naturally, you'll kind of put your own little touch on it generally. So hopefully that helped.
One thing that I want to get back to and is it's the value add thing too. I listen to a lot of podcasts and books on tape, or audible, and I would quote them, or if I heard a good podcast series, I'd throw it out there and make a quick blurb on that. I got more interaction with things like that, and actually doing things that, Melissa does that a lot on her Instagram. She'll put out, hey, what do you think the price is on this house as she's filming it? Those kind of things create engagement, which is really smart. So, you know, just
People go onto social media for entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
That's their pastime. That's their entertainment. So if you're entertaining them, either, you know, some people do it by being not saying you should do this, but people entertain everybody on Facebook by being dramatic, or, you know, and those are those people that you're like, oh, I don't want to even go on their page anymore. But, you know, it's like, what would be entertaining? We've gotten feedback about, we love seeing the prices of houses and how long they're on the market. Since, you know, Wes has really done a shift in his business. As he said the other day at the meeting, you know, he's gone from being a full-time agent to a part-time agent and a full-time business owner. We have really kind of backed up on promoting him and doing more promoting of you guys. And I can't tell you how we run into people and they're like, gosh, you guys are on fire. It really does create an energy, what you put out there. And it's being noticed.
Yeah, I was going to share one of the other ideas is when I didn't have a lot of business in the beginning, I would go to people's open houses and, you know, especially people up for WR, and I would film their open house and then tag them and, you know, just kind of like supporting that whole community that we have with WR. So it's not necessarily something that you're doing or your client or, you know, that kind of thing. If you're looking for content, that's another way, just like you could utilize Broker's Tour for something like that as well. But those have been really helpful. And I do love the polls. I get a lot of good feedback on doing the polls or the quizzes, like, oh yes, I got it right. You know, so I try to, instead of just posting videos, try to make it somewhat engaging for them, because I don't feel like they're getting bored of just looking at videos of houses.
Polls and quizzes. Go ahead.
I'll just say two last little things. One is, you know, it's kind of nice. I guess I've gotten to a point where I don't care a whole lot. I mean, I know I can't please everybody all the time, so I don't even try. So I don't worry about it. I mean, I got a comment a couple months ago from one of my past clients. And it was kind of almost jarring and disturbing. She's like, you know, I just wanted to tell you, I don't think you promote your clients enough. I'm like, well, you know, like meaning like her or other people, you know, my buyers and sellers. And I got to realizing, you know what, and I never responded. I probably should have, but you know, it's like, I didn't feel as like, I don't have to answer to anybody. If you really pay attention, you'd notice the shift. My clients are my agents. They're getting promoted on there all the time. You know, like I've shifted from a business owner, full-time business owner, to a part-time realtor versus the opposite, where everything was, you know, my clients and my houses before. You know, so that is one thing. There was something else that was kind of important. I've lost that train of thought, but it's just, you know, again, knowing what you want to put out there, what you want to be maybe known for, you know, something that's, you know, kind of like a shtick for you, you know, like, yeah.
It's your themes or whatever it may be that kind of shapes around you, and like playing with it, Melissa. That's like two of the best ways to get engagement on stories or quizzes and polls. Those are kill it. Those are like, I forgot about that. I heard that in a podcast a couple weeks ago. And then what you guys were saying, like, I don't know. I always have an idea. You can make a question out of a lot of things. So even if you have a quote, it's like, hey, this is the quote from my favorite podcast. Blah, blah, it's great. What's your favorite podcast? Where do you get your inspiration from? Stuff like that. You can always like spin it into and like hearing that. People love that stuff. I mean, I don't do it enough, so I'm learning quite a bit in this class. So yeah, that's why I love these things, because we all have things we've learned. We all have things that work for us. We all have things we've been exposed to, our own little creative energy and creative space. So yeah, this has been really cool. I could go longer, but I know we try to respect this to an hour at a time, and I'm usually the one that breaks that rule. But yeah, what's up, Misty, Christine? What's up? Some final thoughts, some final ahas?
Well, it's a little off topic, but I'll make it quick. Slack. Okay. If I download the app, will it just recognize me by my email address? I don't need another invite from you, right? So I just put in my email address and pull up my team. Okay. Yeah,
you should be able to sign right in. And for anybody that doesn't know, by the way, I just realized Wes with this, Slack does have desktop as well. Not a lot of people will probably use it, but I put that out there in the beginning. Like, I use it a lot because I work from my computer all the time. Obviously, if you're on the road, but it does have desktop as well. So if that is, I'll just put that, I'll send that out on Slack, the link to that. I'd put it out in the beginning, but yeah, so you have options, desktop and mobile. I find desktop easier because I'm working from my computer and I don't like typing from my phone all the time. But yeah, there's your little Slack nugget for the day. But reach out to me if you have any issues at all, Misty. You got the new invite, right?
Yep, I got it. I'm all signed up. It's just I had Slack before and I thought that I could just go in and switch it to WR, but it looks like it's not letting me do that.
I had a weird issue with that too. You gotta like, yeah, it's a little odd. So
I have to delete the app and then just go back.
I can't even remember, to be honest. It was because I was using
the old email. I don't think you need to delete the app, Misty, because when I was managing my podcast, we managed it through Slack, and I actually still have that channel up. It just allowed me to add a different channel, a different group.
Now, so, the other channel, did it just go away, or could you see it?
No, it's still there. It's still there. So if ever I wanted to go back and see anything that was on there before, I'm signed in the same. It's the same. It's just like a different. It's a different sign in. Okay. Maybe I can show you tonight when I come out.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Sorry, everybody.
You
bet.
No worries at all. No worries at all. Anybody else have any questions, thoughts, anything at all before we kind of wrap this up? By the way, thank you guys. This is super cool. I'm loving all the engagement and showing up and sharing so much. Hopefully everybody got half the value I did out of it, because I already got some great nuggets from y'all. So thank you very much. No. All good. All right.
Good,
well,
thank you.
Awesome. Well, no, thank all of you. Lori, is that a thumbs up and a hands up and a clap? I'll take it all. Okay, awesome. Come on, give one of these. All right, awesome. All right, well, you guys have a great day. Feel free to reach out if you do have any little questions on what we covered or whatever, anything, we're all here for you. So other than that, we'll crush the day. And I'm getting on Instagram right now. I'll be expecting to see tons of videos from all of you by this evening. All right. All right, see y'all later. Bye now.